Welcome back, yet again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins Gate 0. In the last episode, Daru informed Rintaro of the situation here in 2036, and revealed something rather interesting. Apparently, Stratfor had been keeping Rintaro in their captivity for the past 25 years, it seems. Not only that, they also happened to have in their possession Kurisu's memory data, obviously, since they're the ones controlling Amadeus in this world line. But it was only recently that they managed to, by they I of course mean the resistance led by Daru and Suzuha, had managed to find Rintaro's whereabouts and rescue him, and then using Maho's memory leap technology, because it's not time leaping, they were able to put Rintaro's digitized memories from 2011 back into his, physical, corporeal self. But, there's just one thing with that, because up until this point, it has been a given that Rintaro Okabe would perish in the year 2025, and indeed, for all intents and purposes, that appeared to be the case. In other words, Rintaro Okabe shouldn't even be standing right now. And yet, for reasons unknown, Daru has managed to fool the entire world into thinking that Rintaro Okabe has died in the year 2025. And that begs the question, if Daru managed to successfully deceive the world, then could that mean that he has somehow managed to deceive the world line itself? Of course, before Rintaro could question Daru on this matter further, a 10-year-old Kaguri Shina made her grand appearance. And of course, it should go without saying, there's the time machine that Suzuha will eventually travel in.
Kagari, ここには用がある時以外は来るなと言ってるだろう.
And Suzuha's strict as always. Kaguri. Of course, the Kaguri Shina that Rintaro knows is much older, 12 years older, if memory serves. But here in 2036, Kaguri Shina is just a mere 10 years old. This child was a young Kaguri?
ごめんなさい。でも、ママたちみんな出かけて帰ってこないんだもん。
Looks like Mayuri hasn't returned.
まあまあ、そう目くじら立てることもないだろ
また父さんはそうやって甘やかす。こういうことはきちんとしておかなきゃダメなんだ。
I think your attitude there, Suzuha, was what led to the altercation between you and Kaguri in 1998 to begin with. The way they interacted hadn't changed in 25 years. I ignored them and looked at Kaguri. And she seemed to notice me too.
Konnichiwa.
She reminds me of Nai in some instances, and I wonder what would happen if young Nai ever met young Kaguri. I bet they get along quite well. Yeah, not gonna lie, young Kaguri, too adorable.
こんにちは。
Greetings.
おじさんは誰？
Of course, She's never met Rintaro Okabe in the flesh. Until
俺
now,
か
that is.
俺は
But I wonder if it's a good idea to tell Kaguri.
そうだな君のママの友達だ
Yeah. Mayuri will know what we're talking about, but we don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. I hesitated for a moment, but decided not to give her my name. Mayuri will know.
マユリママの
Well, it is the truth.
ああそうだ
へえ。
ママは優しいか
Kaguri seems quite happy at this point. Indeed, even after 25 years and in the heart of the worst world war humanity has ever faced, Mayuri's spirit remains strong.
ママのこと好きか
Indeed she does.
そうか
I could see the love she felt for her mother radiating from her face. Mayuri must have raised her with a lot of love too. That's Mayushi for you. She'd been raised with everything Mayuri could give her. But after this she was going to go to the past. She would be all alone in the past, separated from her beloved Mayuri. And then they would catch her and use her as a test subject. We need to prevent that, even though by doing so we'll cause a worldline shift.
マユ姉さんには伝えたのかおじさんが目覚めたこと。
I doubt he actually had time to.
あいかんすっかり忘れてた早く教えてやらんと
Yeah, might be nice to fill her in. He took out what looked like a small wireless radio.
こちらバレルタイター応答せよこちらバレルタイター
Yep, he's definitely using that code name.
こちらスターダストシェイクハンドです。どうぞ。
Huh. So Mayuri took the name that Ho in Kiyoma gave her little quirk. Shaking hands with Stardust. The voice I heard from the speaker was definitely Mayuri's, also in her mid-40s. It felt a lot calmer than what I was used to, but it was definitely Mayuri. Wait, what was Stardust Handshake? I believe a certain insane mad scientist was the one who called it that. And Kaguri greets Mayuri.
かがりちゃん。誰おじさんのところにいるの
Yeah, and we also have some special news regarding a certain someone.
おじさんは大事なお仕事があるから、あんまり邪魔しちゃダメだよ。
You could learn a thing or two from Mayuri Suzuha.
そんなことよりまゆしスペシャルなニュースだ
Indeed, a rather important announcement.
スペシャルなニュース
ああ心して聞いてくれオカリンが目覚めた
I can only imagine what she's feeling right now.
本当に本当にオカリンがどうしたのマユシオカリンがオカリンが
Indeed. Rintaro Okabe is alive and well.
もしかして岡部さん目を覚ましたんですか
Against all odds. And it seems like your voice has finally deepened a little bit there, Ruka.
本当オカリン起きたのに
Which can only be a good thing. And even in the far future, Fabris still speaks Nyanyanian. Some things never change. I heard one voice I knew after another coming from the radio. The voices didn't seem to have changed all that much.
そういうわけで3人ともすぐに戻ってきた方がいい。
Looks like we're preparing for a very special operation, methinks.
マユシどうしたマユシ
ダメマユシは嬉しさのあまり涙ぐんで声も出ないみたい
She's probably overwhelmed with joy right now.
まあ無理もないよな。オカリンの復活を一番望んでたのはマユシなんだからさ。
Indeed. She even referred to Rintaro as her Hikaboshi. Mayuri.
とにかくみんな早く戻った方がいい。
分かった食料を受け取ったらすぐに戻るわ
Looks like they're collecting food, which is very useful at this point in time. Everyone else was overjoyed, but I saw that Suzuha's expression was clouded.
どうした鈴葉。
なんで眉姉さんたち食料調達に出ている？今日は予定になかったはずだ。
Seems like Suzuha was kept out of the loop.
え
And she's not happy about it.
そんなはずない確かに今日だって昨日の夜遅くに連絡が
Oh no.
まずい、それは罠だ。みんなすぐに戻って。
A scream from the speaker cut her off.
どうした？何があった？
Looks like Daru isn't the only one capable of misdirection and misinformation.
襲撃です敵襲が
くそ。
In other words, we walked right into it.
ライルちゃんリリーさん逃げてここ僕
でもそんなことしたらルカディアンが
大丈夫ですか早く
Looks like Ruka's going off into battle.
父さん。
We have to do something. We can't just leave them be. Suzuha started running and Daru followed after.
待ってくれダル俺も行く
But then who's going to look after Kagure?
でもオカリンその体じゃ。
And not to mention, Rintaro is not in the best shape to
行
help.
かせてくれ頼む
But then again, his best friends are in danger. He hesitated for a moment, but then quickly nodded and offered me his shoulder. He was a little thinner than he was young. Oh, than when he was young, but his shoulder was still gigantic. I put my weight on it as we followed Suzuha. Back out into the cold. I think hell would probably be warmer than this. When we finally got there, I saw several silhouettes. I'd been mentally preparing myself for a fierce battle, but the whole place was dead quiet. There were several men dressed like soldiers lying on the ground nearby. In front of them was Suzuha. Kneeling next to her were two women. And at their feet... Oh no.
Ruka...
It seems that Ruka has been injured. I could tell at a glance. The person lying there was Rukako.
ほかりん
Indeed, we're alive. The two women looked up at me.
ほかりんルカニャンがルカニャンが
Does that mean that worldline convergence has decreed that Ruka Rushibara is fated to die in 2036? Mayuri and Feyris both seemed beaten down by the passage of time. But we have to do what we can. His features had grown more gallant, but his face was still soft and feminine, although I wonder if he has a beard, but that's probably not appropriate to talk in this situation. Rukako looked at me with hazy eyes.
Rukako.
And I don't think we have the equipment needed to treat his wounds, if we can
本当に
help him at all.
岡部さんなんですか？
ああ、ルカコ。俺だ。
The one and only.
その呼び方、大物の岡部さん。
Only Rintaro Okabe or Horin Kiyoma would ever refer to Ruka Rushibara as Rukako, even though he's a guy. A single trail of blood dripped from Rukako's mouth. His outfit was stained with blood over his right breast, and the blood dripped over onto the ground. You picked the worst moment to finally gain some self-confidence there, Ruka Rushibara. I knew immediately that the wound was fatal.
よかった。さっきの話は嘘じゃなかったんですね。
Something tells me that time leaping to prevent this situation won't help. Curse you, worldline convergence.
お前たちのおかげでこうして目覚めることができた。ありがとう。
Rukago's hand reached up towards the sky as if he was looking for something. Maybe he couldn't even see me anymore. When I grabbed his hand, it was very cold.
岡部さん。
どうした？
僕やりました。
ああ。
今
That
日
you
はそれ
did.
教えてもらった精神ザマ流の心へのおかげで今までまゆりちゃんやみんなを守ってこれ
You do realize, Ruka, that the Seishin Zanma school of swordsmanship was nothing more than childish nonsense, pulled right out of improvisation by Rintaro Okabe.
僕仲間になれましたよね
Indeed, you've proven yourself worthy of being Hoen Kyoma's disciple, Ruka
皆さんの
Urushibara.
本当の仲間になれましたよね。
In other words, you are truly a member of the Future Gadget Laboratory. Number 006. I'm pretty sure that Ruger's the sixth member.
バカ。お前は最初からずっと俺たちの仲間だ。
Rukago reached out a cold hand and touched my cheek, and smiled a dazzling smile.
嬉しいな。
That was all he said. And then, the touch on my cheek disappeared.
ルカ子。ルカ子。
ルカ
The cold hand fell to the rubble-covered ground. Once again, the Future Gadget Laboratory has suffered a heart-wrenching casualty. Rest in peace, Ruka Urushibara. And never moved again.
なんてことだ。
よかったルカ君はオカリンとずっと会いたがっていたから、最後に会えたのは本当によかった。
Glad? She was glad? After this? Mayuri's words made me realize how hellish the last 25 years I'd slept through must have been.
漆原ルカ、あなたはとても立派に戦いました。私たちはあなたに救われました。どうか安らかに。
Future Gadget Laboratory has lost one of its own.
こんなのあんまりだろ。
Well, if there is a silver lining to all this, there is sadly one way to undo this tragic skein of fate. If you didn't have an incentive to follow Suzuha's advice before, Rintaro Okabe, you do now. But it's going to take a miracle, because there is only one way to prevent World War III. Just one way. Keep Kurisu's paper from falling into anyone else's hands, the theory on time machine technology, and the second is to try and save her life. But are we going to be able to do that? especially after what has just transpired before our very eyes.
マユシは
泣き疲れて眠ったよ。
We should let her be.
無理もないよな。マユシはルカシとずっと仲良かったから。
We all were, Daru.
ルカ兄さん。
Rukiko was dead. He died protecting Mayuri and Ferris. First Mayuri, then Kurisu, and now Ruka. How many more? How many more lives will be claimed by worldline convergence? How many more lab members and fellow comrades will fall to the skeins of fate? In my mind, his death overlapped with Mayuri's. Mayuri's hands got colder, and so did Rukiko's. It was the same no matter where I went. Mayuri, Rukiko, and Kurisu. Everyone dies. Because of worldline convergence.
あの戦争をきっかけにたくさんの人間が死んだ。
5.7 billion people.
小学校の友達も中学高校の友達も大学の友達も。
And that begs the question, whatever happened to Yugo, Tanuji and Nai? Are they alive? Or did they perish in the first wave? And I think it's safe to say that CERN is no longer a major threat given the current situation on the world stage.
親戚も先生も知り合いも大人も子供もそれから大切な人も。たくさんの本当にたくさんの人間が死んだんだ。
It may be cold, cynical, and somewhat even cruel of me to say these words that I'm about to utter, adventurers, but there was a quote attributed to the Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin. When you kill one, it is a tragedy. When you kill a million, it is a statistic. And 5.7 billion people dead is certainly a very heart-wrenching statistic. I knew this was coming. At least I thought I knew. If I didn't reach Steins Gate, if I stayed in the Beta world line, the world would eventually burn. And staying in the Alpha world line is equally pointless, because CERN will rise to create a dystopian, totalitarian future in which they have control over space and time. I'd heard it 1,000 times, from Suzuha no less, and I thought I knew what the future would be like. But in the end, it was just a story about the distant future. It didn't feel real at all. I could only imagine it. All I had were vague, unrealistic ideas. All the thousands of nightmares I'd experienced. I thought nothing could be worse than that. Unfortunately, Rintaro. But when I saw it with my own eyes, heard it with my own ears, and felt it with my own skin, I realized that everything I thought was wrong. Piles of bodies. Wild dogs devouring human corpses. Dead soldiers. The smell of burning flesh. The smell of rotting organs. All of it and more. The warmth of Rukako's blood in my hands. In the midst of all that desolation. The warmth of Mayuri's blood. The warmth of Kurisu's blood. I thought that if nothing else, I'd managed to save Mayuri. I'd let Kurisu die, turned my eyes away from reality, and told myself that at least I'd saved Mayuri and the others. But in the end, I hadn't saved anyone. Even if I had, I'd only saved myself. I was the only person I'd managed to save. In other words, all our previous efforts were for naught. No one else. Not Kurisu. Not Mayuri. Not Kaguri, not Rukako, and we can actually now compare Kurisu's updated artwork with Kaguri's, as opposed to her regular Steins appearance. And yeah, they do look fairly similar, but yeah, Kaguri's personality is definitely completely different than that of Kurisu's. Not to mention certain physical attributes, but let us move on from that. I hadn't saved anyone.
クリスをアマデウスの呪縛から解放してやってくれ。
Release Amadeus Kurisu from the bonds of Amadeus? What are you talking about, Daru?
伝言2025年のオカリンから
A message from 2025?
俺の伝言
From ourselves?
シュタインズゲート世界線への道は険しい。一度や二度やり直したところでたどり着ける道ではないだろう。けれどまずはそこから始めることがシュタインズゲートへとつながるんじゃないか。 いくつもの未来の先が過去へとつながっているんじゃないか。11年前オカリンはそう言ってた。
Unfortunately, we don't remember that.
クリスを解放。
But how do we even find Amadeus Kurusu?
だからさ、僕たちがいるこの世界も無駄じゃない。きっと必要な世界なんだ。少なくとも今の僕はそう思ってる。
It's a bit of a long shot, Daru. But whatever scheme is going on, I think it might just work. So when we return, adventurers, we shall try to carry out Daru's plan and try and find out where Amadeus Kurusu is being held. Of course, if I'm correct, she's probably still being held by Stratfor, wherever their secret hideout is. Which means we basically have to go to the heart of enemy territory. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.